If recording has started, welcome everyone who is here today. I am Juliana Fajardini or Fajardini. I don't know why I'm saying Fajardini. And I'm joined today by my mentors and co-workers, Shivani Bartoy and Jason Nish. We are three of the mentors that will be helping you with the contribution phase, and hopefully when one of you gets selected for the internship with us later on this year. The purpose of this meeting is to share a few things related to Suricata. This was both an idea that Jason had last round, but also a feedback that some of the applicants gave that they really liked it. So we decided to do it earlier in the round. And as I said, we will try to show how to run Suricata, how to build Suricata, how to go about Redmine, finding tickets. I'll try to run EveBox, which is a very cool tool that Jason created to help us visualize the Suricata logs. And we will try to also answer a few of your questions. And please interrupt me if anything is weird or you can't hear me properly or anything at all. Well, not anything, or I'll lose my train of thought. So I'll start with. Okay, hopefully you all can see my screen. And I shared a document that is basically what I'll be trying to follow. So what we have for now is basically just a fresh setup of I don't have the shortcuts. Cool. This is a fresh Ubuntu setup. The only thing that I did yesterday as preparation was to go to the documentation, the docs for Suricata. So this will be basically the first thing we will see. And I went to the Suricata developer guide, installation from GitHub. Can you all see my screen properly? I'll take that as a yes. And I copy pasted this and then this, and I think I also did this. So these were pre-installation requirements, so we could have we could proceed to having Suricata. And the way I decided that I would go about installing Suricata is to actually go to our repository and clone it. So if this sounds too crazy, please let me know that I should not do it like that. I'm talking now to Jason and Shivani, who are my mentors. So
it looks great. Is it possible that we do this full screen? The top right, maybe there is a full screen thingy. Yes, this is so much better.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks for interrupting and making things look better. So I'll do as I would if I were in my laptop. So I'll create a workspace space, and there I'll hit clone our repo. And this will take some time. But what I did, again, I went to our GitHub, and because I don't want to create another fork, I just went to code and copied this link. But usually as a contributor, what you will do is that you will fork to your own repository, and then you will clone that one, because then you already have the proper setup for when you want to push your contributions to GitHub in order to open a pull request with us. And if all of that is too basic, just let us know and we will move forward to more advanced stuff. So once we have cloned Suricata, we can go to that directory. There are a few tools that we should have before we can actually build Suricata, and we have a script that bundles them. So if we run scripts bundle, we should be able to get that. And this is part of the instructions that we have in our documentation as well, I think. So here we are running another step that is important, especially the first time you build or if you have to update anything. Let's see if we have that here. So we have the directory, we go into it, we clone, we use bundle, then autogen. So far so good. Once again, we are following the steps for installation from Git, from the Suricata developer guide, because the idea for us is to be able to work with Suricata. So that's the way, the steps that we should follow. And for configuration, we do configure, and because we want to be able to test Suricata, we should configure it at least with the flag enable unit tests. There are a few others that can be used. There's a blog post that is a bit outdated, but I can share that has lots more flags, but this would be the bare minimum. I hope everyone is having a nice Friday. I see that. Shivani is taking care of the chat. Oh, no. What
I
is
think
it?
you can apt install it now on most distros instead of doing the cargo install.
Cool. I think I forgot one of the steps. So see, folks, that's what happens when you forget one of the steps. See, binding, right? That's
Yep.
the one that I'm... So I'm not taking care of the chat, but I saw that Shivani is. And let's try again. So this is good because then you see if you have some error, you may have to take a few steps back. All right, so let's go back to configure. Does anyone, has anyone already run Suricata and seen it in action? I'll take that as a no. So we will try to do that today. Has all of you read what Suricata is for? What do we do with Suricata? So we are, I saw that in the forum, some of you mentioned security and things around that area. We are in that space. We are a tool used for network monitoring and for gathering network intelligence in case there's any suspicious activity on the network. And this can be used locally. Sorry, this can be used on the cloud. And we have also, it's also possible to embed Suricata in appliances to oversee your network. So this is basically what we do. Because of that, not because of that, but also because of that, we are mainly tool without a user interface. So we will be mainly dealing with a terminal when running Suricata. And for users, I guess the things that they care the most about Suricata are the rules that are used to help people describe scenarios where this could be a suspicious activity, and the Suricata logs that show what Suricata saw on the network. And the reason why I'm saying all these things is because we are still compiling, so we have time. And you can see from this process that it might take some time, and that's why we put the specifications for the machines that we say that there should be a certain minimum of memory and, well, hardware in general, because otherwise it is doable, but as you can see, it takes some time. So we just want to to set expectations that it can be more painful if you have a machine with less memory, for instance. So as I was saying, from a user perspective, what people usually think about Suricata is the logs. We'll see them, and the rules. We probably won't see them today, but those are things that you might hear. And if you go so far as creating, Suricata verify tests, then you may get in touch with the Suricata rules a bit more. So this
What is Suricata verify?
Why don't you say?
I'm asking questions.
All right. So Suricata Verify is one of the tools that we have to help test Suricata. So I've mentioned unit tests. Unit tests will test specific, very ideally small units of code. And with Suricata Verify, what we do is to test, hopefully, all the workings of Suricata, or most of its behavior, because we will actually run Suricata, so run the whole code, build the whole code, and go through actually inspecting network traffic, and sometimes matching against rules and checking that the output is what is expected. So it is more like integration tests, I guess, and behavioral tests. Sorry, as opposed to unit tests. And throughout your development process, you will ideally and normally run unit tests in some cases, and the Suricata Verify tests more often. You may have to create Suricata Verify tests. Some or a lot of the, since this is still going, let's go to our Redmine. Some or a lot of our, where is the thing? I thought I had more. It's here. I'm checking the document that I shared with all of you. Many of the tasks that we have as good force issues are actually tasks related to our unit tests. So at least in C, so you'll get to see a bit of that. Okay, so while we wait, okay, I am so not paying attention to what I'm doing while I talk that we just compiled, and I thought we were just configuring. Great, awesome. One last step to go. This is compiled. I was talking about Redmine. So this is our Redmine. We've mentioned it. If you haven't done so yet, you should come here and register in order to be able to work with our tickets. Once you go here, you'll see the Redmine project pages here, and then you have this overview and all our issues. To find good issues for you, we have this label, Good First Issues. And this looks so small, I'm sorry. And then you can go here in filters and add more labels, such as beginner, and let's use the control to have both, and Outreachy. So with those three labels, you should have most of what you need to be able to find issues that you could work on. And the issues that I was mentioning that are related to unit tests are these. There's a whole suite of tasks that they are not the most basic thing that you can do, but they are fairly basic, and they also are good because many of them were already done. So if you have any doubts or questions, you can go and check how others approached this. So converting unit tests to the new FailPass API would be something very common for people to do. And this is just for taking a specific style of unit test that we have in C and changing that to a set of macros. Anyways, I'm going out of my way, I guess. But once you have Suricata built, if you wanted to run any of our tests, unit tests from C, you would / source Suricata, then -u, and you can specify a unit test with capital U. And then this helps because I hope this is a real test. Let's see if it is. Because then you can run just a subset of tests. So like this, not like that, that's wrong. And after this one, okay, so this is not any a real test, but this is how you would be able to run a single test. Now let's try to do what? I don't have any pcaps here. That is unfortunate. Now that I've already shown how to
Just on the SV repo.
yeah, that's a good
Just some
idea.
pcaps real fast.
This is also something that you should do, so let's do it now. I've mentioned the Suricata verify. We also call it the SV repo, like Jason did now. And to have it locally, again, you clone it. Let's move out from the Suricata directory. You can have a dedicated directory for all your Suricata stuff. I'm just not doing it for whatever reasons now. Now that we've done that, if we go there, in the tests directory, you have all of this Simba are tests. So all this that the sun touches are tests that we can check. And the majority of them will have pcaps. And with that, you can go back to Suricata. And the simple way to run Suricata is to have, this is the basic, then we can tell -r for Suricata to read a pcap instead of checking the network. And let's go to Suricata verify, test, alert, test my IDs, and input pcap, I guess. What is it? Give it to me. Oh, this one doesn't have a pcap?
It must link somewhere else. Yeah.
Great.
See, it's test.yaml where it is.
What, sorry?
No,
I
you can
meant
check.
yeah, okay. I don't know if I have the this alert. That's my IDs. No, it doesn't. That's YAML. I don't have Robit origin.
Boring.
Why? Okay.
Seems
That
like
pcap is used a lot in many different tests.
Okay, so now we have a pcap. If we can pass with -l, we would tell Suricata to log to a specific directory. That is the ideal. I will not pass anything, so it will just mess up with my Suricata directory. Don't do that. It gets confusing. And if you want to specify a file for configuration, you can do -c and then pass the path. If not, it will assume that you are using the configuration for the local instance of Suricata. I think we have everything. No, we don't. I don't have it. What did I do wrong? Oh, so I'm wrong. You can just see that I am not, Suricata doesn't do what I think it will do. It is looking for the global installation file. So now Suricata is telling me a few errors that are not of major importance, and we should have now logs. We have the stats log, Suricata log, config log, fast log. So let's check first fast log. Fast log is the fastest log that you have for checking alerts. It doesn't have much else. In this case, it doesn't have anything because I didn't enable any Suricata rules, and probably the test that I get doesn't have rules either, I guess. An Eve JSON log would be the log that, this is great, sorry. This is so useful for seeing any information at all. Eve JSON is the log that we use for most of the information that Suricata has to give to users. Yes, Jason. Were you going to say anything?
I was gonna say, look at the first line, I guess. It's kind of the one that might make the most sense. How it's
Or
it's the network representation of if you had gone in your browser to www.testmyids.com. This is what Suricata picks up on the network and tells you that someone went there. In this case, it was curl on the command line, but it could have been a browser as well.
yeah, so
I don't think that site works for this alert anymore, though.
maybe.
We
This
have other ones now, but yeah.
this
What's
is
the
an
date on that PCAP? 2016. So yeah.
I should have picked one that has alerts actually. But the good thing when you have and thanks for the extra info. This is testmyids.org. Is this still it? .com. But I think I remember. Yeah, this is basically what we have, and then you can curl that. This is used to test your IDS. This is also something that you could do. You could run Suricata on your network interface, and then go to this web page, and you would get an alert for it. Okay, so what we've done, we built Suricata, we got Suricata verified, we ran Suricata with a pcap. Am I making sense so far? Am I going too fast, too slow, too mumbo jumbo? Okay, I don't see the chat, so I'll just trust. So I've shown you how to run unit tests in C. This will be very useful and important if you get any of those Suricata unit test conversion tasks. Do make sure that you run at least the test on the file that you are converting locally, so you have less chances of getting CI failures that would require you to submit new PR. If you want to run Suricata verify tests, what you would do is from the Suricata directory, you will, let's see if this will work like that. It might not. You will jump or call the Suricata verify folder, then run -q will tell it to not be so verbose. And if you leave it just like this, it will run all tests, and that takes a lot of time. So let's try, what was it? Alert test my IDS. This will, the first time it takes a bit longer, then it not so much, but this should run any Suricata verify tests that have that expression in their names. And if you pass a name that doesn't exist, it will just show that 0 tests were run, but it will not tell you directly that the test doesn't exist. So pay attention to that. I've many times spent more time than I should before I realized that I simply had passed the wrong name. So another tool that I mentioned is useful is the EveBox tool. This was created by the awesome Jason Ish that is here with us today. And what it allows is to go from, oh, I don't have it any longer to show. But it allows to go from that JSON that I showed briefly and that Jason explained a bit to something that is more user-friendly to the majority of people. Once you have that downloaded, you sort of have a local server that you can open on the browser, and it will consume whatever JSON file that you pass to it, and it will show something like that. This is me explaining and butchering all that EveBox can actually do.
Is there a demo on the website, Jason?
No, I killed my live demo the other day.
Oh.
It was using too many cloud. It was costing-
Oh, okay.
It's just funny that I killed it about 4 days ago.
Oh.
But we can do it like this. So let's try that in just a moment and see how it goes.
That will only work on live, this one.
Okay.
It's not the EveBox one. So you go to the download link. It's at the bottom of the page on the home page.
But I can also use my laptop since I'm.
Yeah. So just take the zip package for the Linux x86 64.
Follow
Just
the
unzip that and then run /EveBox. So
/what?
Dot on the terminal, yeah. /EveBox. And then you probably want the one shot.
Short.
And then you point it at a EveJSON file of your
Let's
choice.
go to, what was it? Workspace, Suricata, and there's conveniently an EveJSON here. And then it's there. We copy this.
I think it already opened your browser to that page.
Oh,
Got it. Yeah, okay. No alerts found.
yeah,
It's
that was
expected in that one. But drop that hamburger menu down on the right-hand side, and I don't know why it's doing this for your screen. And hit events.
Events.
Yeah.
And also the
There
timing
you
should
see one.
also.
And we can see the HTTP request, which was made on the network.
And you have the date here, and you can click on stuff to be. So this is basically what we see and what it consumes. But if you like visual, then you can use EveBox to have something that is more friendly than just a JSON. And so this is, again, Suricata. What does Suricata do? Suricata will see your network traffic, and it will generate a lot of data based on that. This is one such example. And with that, if there's anything weird going on, if you have rules, it will say, hey, this here, you should not be doing such and such requests in such and such network ports. This looks suspicious. I've created an alert for that. This is basically the gist of Suricata, and yeah, this is, you will be working with a subset of that. Oh, we have more tests that have passed in case we want to check anything else. So now we should have more logs here. So if I want, I can try to check one that has an alert. I went for alert my IDs, right? Let's alert my IDs. I have no idea what I'm doing. Who am I? Test my IDs alert. So test my IDs. Frames midstream. One of those should have alerts. Do you have alerts? Test YAML. To see what the, oh, I don't have them. To see what the test is doing, we can check the test YAML. So this is what Shivani mentioned earlier, and this is what I just did. And I did it very quickly, but here we have a check and it says count 4 and it's matching on the event type from the if.json file alert. So this tells us that this test expects us to see Suricata to see 4 alerts when running this pcap, and it probably also has rules. And these are the Suricata rules or examples of them that I referred to earlier. So based on this is a rule saying to alert on HTTP 1 protocol, any IPs, any ports, when the flow is to the server. So you have, for instance, your browser connecting to a server, and you look for a request and you check for this content on the request. If Suricata sees this, it would basically generate an alert. And let's try to check that. Where is the other thing? Do I have to kill it to pass another file? I do, right? I just killed.
Yeah.
Now go to Suricata verify. And that was tests alert my IDS. Are you that slow? I'm sorry.
No, that's my ideas. There's a typo.
That's my IDS. Frame. Okay. And now we get the output if JSON, and we will see more now. This
There
is
you
an
got the
alert.
alert.
So this is I feel like when I was first doing my college projects and I spent weeks working on something with a friend, and then his mom was like, and that's all you did?
Julia, you just want in another tab, do you want to go to testmyids.org?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can just explain this alert. So this is just a web page. That's all it has is a few words on it. And that's a rule. That alert comes from a rule that's looking for this type of data on a web page or any network traffic, because historically it could have been a sign that your your machine had been compromised by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it could still be, but it's pretty old attack that's just used for test data usually now.
So yeah, so Suricata sees something like this on the wire, which is another way to say on the network. And then if you have alerts, it will say, hey, this looks suspicious. You may want to check what's going on. And here is a bit more low level of what Suricata is seeing. So yeah, build Suricata, get and run Suricata verify, run Suricata, use a pcap, find tickets, EveBox, Redmine. We saw the docs. There are a couple other things that can be useful in terms of what is it that I want to say? Ensuring that your code looks correct before you submit it. These are the other things that are in the document that I've shared. And those are like a command for make check to see that, to test that everything works as expected in the build. Then you have cargo clippy if you are working with Rust. I'll paste it, but you would have to go to the Rust directory and run cargo clippy. I probably won't, because this may take some time. If you have changed Rust files, you can run Rust format, and I will not show all of those because you have the file. I can share it in the Discord server later as well. So Clippy and Rust format for formatting Rust. If you want to test Rust tests, you will also have to go to the Rust unit test as there is, to the Rust directory and run cargo test. I've shown how to, if you are working with C, you might get Clang format errors, and to check that if you have errors from the Suricata directory, you would run we have a script called Clang format, and then we pass the option check branch. For that, you will have to install on Ubuntu at least Clang. It would be sudo apt-get install Clang 14. I will update our docs to include this because I saw it's missing. And once you've done that, you can run Clang format check branch to check for any weird formatting in your C, because our CI checks will yell at you in your PR. And now you know one of the ways to fix that. And yeah, I think that's basically what I had here. I know this was a lot, and it was probably very fast and confusing. So if you have questions, feel free to ask anything to any of us. And
We do also have those videos, the new video training series.
yeah, that's great. Sorry. So if you go to our webpage, suricata.io, we have the learning library, right?
Yep.
And here you have lots of videos for getting started with Suricata. These have a more user-oriented perspective, so you may still feel that you need a few other tips and tutorials to go about what you want. But installing Suricata on Ubuntu, Alma Linux, essential configuration stuff, running Suricata as a service, managing Suricata update, which is important for Suricata rules. So if you want to go experimenting and running Suricata on your local network and checking for stuff, you would probably want to have the Suricata update as well. How to analyze pre-recorded network traffic. This is basically what we did when we used Suricata to run over a pcap. And this is basically what we have here. But we also have our YouTube channel .com/OISF-Suricata. No, that's not it. But I tried.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think we have the dash OST as well.
There's a typo.
I know dash. There you go. Yeah.
Yes. So here we have even more videos. We have the session that we did. I don't see the thing saying that we are recording. I will be very disappointed if we are not.
Tells me.
I see.
Okay, awesome. I got so scared for a moment. We have playlists to help you understand what are all the videos that we have available. So there's stuff related to our user conference. There are some how-tos. There are the webinars. Amongst those, there are lots of, no, we don't want to do that. Stop. No one told you to do that. We have what we call the Suricata Outreachy. No, what is it? Suricata Outreachy webinars. You can search specifically for those. We listed them in the project descriptions. And these are webinars that pass outreach interns when they are finishing their internship with us. As the final task, we invite them to present a webinar on their project and their journey. So you can find those here. Like this one, adding a beginner's guide to adding new features to Suricata. I believe this one was with Tarushi and I back in 2021. And these help because they have also tips for Outreachy interns and applicants. So do check those as well. And am I missing anything? Okay, so if no questions come, I'll just keep talking because I'm very good at that. Pay attention to your PRs. During the contribution phase, we try to be more active and proactive in reviewing fast, as we know you don't have a lot of time. So if you want to get more contributions or more feedback, try to act fast once you get a review. What else? Be sure to trust yourselves. I know that when you are going through this, you will doubt everything that you do. You may think that others are doing more than you do, and then want to simply quit. Don't. You never know what others are doing. You never know if people are not contributing to other projects as well. You never know what is the perspective of the mentors of the community. So stick to the end if you are enjoying our community. That is, you are not forced to. We will not judge you if you prefer going elsewhere. But if you like our project and the community, don't doubt yourself. Stick to the end. Take one day at a time. If you don't understand something, ask in the ticket. Go to the Discord server. We have this time invited all our past interns to help us answer your questions. So we have even more folks with different perspectives to help guide you through this moment. Don't forget to submit your contributions as you do to the Outreachy site, because you need those registered in turn in order to be considered for selection. That's it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I know that it is very intimidating, but I promise we try to be nice people. We really make an effort to put ourselves in the shoes of those who are still learning. We also know that we are all learning. We all make mistakes. We all forget things. So no judgment from us on that regard. And if you have questions pertaining anything related to the contribution process, not necessarily Suricata, this is also the time for that.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Oh,
One at a time.
Yeah, Usman, you can go ahead. It's fine. I'm sorry.
hello. Hi. Thank you very much for the presentation and introducing Suricata to us. It's really interesting. I think my own question is actually because like on the Outreachy page, so I saw Wireshark like as part of like the skills and stuff like that. And I mean I came across Wireshark sometimes and I knew that it's like for seeing logs of networks information and stuff. So my kind of question is how, and I've seen that Suricata now is like for probably like getting for based on some rules, being able to like get some information about like what is happening in the network. So my and Wireshark is also like some, I don't know, like I think it's probably like just give information of all the event happening in the network. So how is Suricata and Wireshark working together, and like what is like and what is their differences or something like that? Yeah.
Well, that is a very advanced question already.
I got a thought there. Wireshark can listen to a live network, but it's generally not recommended. It's trying to draw everything on a screen, like with a user interface, which is very time consuming, and you're not going to be able to see everything. So you can think of Wireshark more as a user tool. If you've got a specific set of network traffic you want to investigate, you can use that. Whereas Suricata is a bit more, you might run it on an appliance type machine or a firewall or a specific device just dedicated to IDS, and you're looking at everything. And it just goes out to log files, and then another system might pick it up and throw it in a database. So it can perform much better because it doesn't have to draw it to the screen and everything. And then and then you would use other tooling on other machines to review the data that's in the database. I hope that makes sense. One is kind of you're using it as you're using it, but you wouldn't leave it running all the time, whereas Suricata is running all the time. And then we don't do this, but we just log to a file, but we leave it to other tools, other products to pick it up and throw in a database for further analysis. I guess one of the most popular setups would be to have Suricata running on a network device somewhere in your network, and then having products by Elastic, like FileBee, picking up and throwing in Elasticsearch, and then using Kibana, which is Elastic. If you're not familiar with, is Elasticsearch's kind of web-based thing for exploring all your data in Elasticsearch, and our data is the data we generate is pretty compatible with what Elasticsearch expects. So yeah, like this comes out. Wireshark can't be running all the time and doing that and storing in a database, and Suricata is part of a full system to do that. But we don't work together with them, but quite often you'll use Suricata and it'll generate alerts and you've logged all that data somewhere, and then you might go in with Wireshark to take a closer look.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
My question
Let me
was,
just, sorry, Ashabori, just to complement on what Jason said, another aspect is that, for instance, if you are doing a network analysis exercise, then it may make sense to use Wireshark to look at the traffic and try to find things. But if you really were to inspect live traffic, like Jason said, for any suspicious activities, you would not be able to easily do that through Wireshark, because it's just a lot of information. So it just makes more sense to be running that in the background. And if anything appears, then you will have lots of alerts, and then you can go through whatever tooling you prefer to check what's there. So go on, Ashabori.
thank you. Thanks for the presentation again, Juliana. I also, like, it was a lot of, like, you did get a lot of new things, and I have worked with Wireshark a little bit and the regular coursework, so I'm going to use the YouTube channel and this video to help me get a better footing and work on the contributions through that. My question is, are we allowed, this is like a more general question, not really something particular to this one, is that I mean, I've been interested in cybersecurity and network security, so Suricata, this project was something I really want to do. However, also am wondering if we are allowed in the initial stage to contribute to and apply to multiple projects. Are we allowed to do that as interns?
Not as interns, right? But as applicants right now, you sure are.
Right, yes. Okay,
You sure are.
okay.
It is usually recommended that you try to pick one or two, because Suricata, you probably noticed that our project isn't so busy, but if you wanted to contribute, say, to Firefox or to Wikipedia or the Wikimedia Foundation, you would see a lot going on. So in order to have a meaningful contribution phase, that is not just pick a task and submit your patch to it, but in order to interact with the community, talk to other applicants, and have the full open source experience, it's usually recommended that you pick one or two communities. Otherwise, it can be quite overwhelming. But that is up to you.
Makes sense. All right, thank you. And secondly, so the contributions and patches that I would potentially be able to submit, I'm also allowed to list them on my resume or my profile, right? If necessary.
Sure. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
GitHub is public, right? And any
Of course.
contributions that you do to any open source project, you did them.
Of course.
This is and this is one of the advantages of contributing to open source, right? I want not to forget to mention that we have listed 2 projects on the Outreachy page, but we will probably be selecting this round only 1 intern. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying this to generate competition between you, just to set the expectations right. And when you submit your contributions to the Outreachy page, do remember that you should either register them for both projects for us, if you don't mind working with either, or select the one you would like to work with. This is more of logistics detail, but it's important for you all to know. Okay, we have sort of 6 more minutes. Thanks for everyone who has joined and stuck with us from the beginning to end. I would like to remind you to check our forum. We have our frequently asked questions where I've tried to summarize things that I thought would be frequently something that people would ask. Alice has suggested that I created this before you get started contributing topic. This is very good, thank you. And if you have other questions that are not there, feel free to use it to create a topic. Once you are logged in, you would be able to see a button here to create a new topic. So feel free to use it. If you are already working on a ticket, you can also go in the ticket, say here, no, not that, I created in the wrong part. Say you go in the ticket and you can also go here and ask any questions that you have pertaining the ticket itself. Remember to have fun. The idea for this contribution phase is for you to experience how it is to contribute and to be a part of an open source community. And I know there's a lot of pressure because I know this is a huge opportunity to many of you, but try to enjoy the journey. Feel free to share not only technical stuff in the Discord channel if you feel like doing so. Try to help each other when you can, and if you can, this is also part of this process. Open source communities are about being a community, so this is not a solo journey. And yeah, I think that's it. Any last words before we wrap up this? Darkness, my old friend. Okay, I'll say one last thing. I said I am good at talking. Once you have gone through the good first issues, try to, and you were able to have, say, a PR of yours approved, try to pick a different sort of task to work on, okay? So both you and us have a different sense of the skills that you are able to work with in Suricata. So say you worked with unit test conversion, try to go for something else. Try to look for things that look slightly more complex. Don't forget to check our dev guide. We have the steps for working with the code base, testing, things related to contributing, saying like how to write the pull request, what's the workflow, how to write the commit messages, all of that is here. So this is something that you have access to through here. And yeah, I think now I'm done. Okay, folks, so if we don't have any other questions, thanks a lot for joining, especially Shivani, who is all the way in India. And
Actually, it's worse for Asha Bori. I just checked.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of late.
and be proud of
But
yourselves.
yeah, I think Shivani and I are in a similar time zone, like just half an hour apart, right?
Okay, so thanks everyone again. Be proud of yourselves. Help each other. Remember that you are building. You could be building a nice support network. So do this and enjoy the ride, I guess. And I hope to see you on Redmine and Discord and GitHub, especially. Thank you all. Bye. Enjoy your Friday, weekend, everything. Bye-bye. I'll end it now.
Bye, everyone.
And the recording is